Well, hello, my darlings, and you can see I've got the cards in my hands already, ready to go. Judith and I are ready and raring to go. She's going to tell you the title of the show today. We're holding up our cards. I'm reading off the, I don't know, old style tarot, which I absolutely love, and this is, yeah, this is a load of fun. We just want to, well, I'll tell you a little bit about the fact that Judith's doing right away, but she's going to do the little bit of an intro because we've got sponsorship for today's show. We're being sponsored, and I'm going to just quickly show you, apart from the forget the other bracelets, but all these three beautiful bracelets I've got here. Can you see them, darlings? These are my horoscope. These are my sign, Taurus, and the three bracelets that belong to the Taurus thing. Jude's going to tell you a little bit about that. And today's show is being sponsored by, and you would have seen it in the intro, the video, it's being sponsored. You'll see a little bit more on it. You'll see some links by Otter Spirit in California, who donate proceeds from their sales to saving and preserving the California otters. And that's community, darlings, isn't it? You know, focusing on your local community and what do you do and where do you go and how do you work within, you know, the local community and within things like that. Beautiful box on the inside. They've got this beautiful, they're absolutely beautiful for a gift. And on the inside it tells you, the card tells you about happiness and positivity easily flow into my life. That's the rainbow tourmaline, which is this one here on the end. So it tells you about those. It tells you about your zodiac sign, la 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 la. And beautiful,
And
absolutely beautiful.
I'll just come in there, Wallace. The bit about buying, the link will come up, but the bit about getting your astrological sign, like ours is Taurus, the bit about that is buying them is it's really important more than that than they're just bracelets, because they're not. This is your astrological sign, and the energy attached to that astrological sign for you personally is really important. So if you buy them for your sign, like whether you're Pisces, whether you're Gemini, whatever the case may be, and you wear them every day, they become impregnated with your particular energy, which is really important. And so that brings forth for you all the really good things about your star sign, and it aligns you with all of the zodiac and what's happening out there in astrology, especially now. So this is a really important time to be able to have something that you can contribute, because it's an energy, and it's just like the energy of the heart beats at the same megahertz as the energy of the universe, which is I won't go into a lot of detail, but that's a really important thing. So that energy around those beat at the same time. So they're yours. They're yours. And if you wear them every day and just keep them on you, you can bathe in them, you can, or take them off, pop them on the side, put them back on after you shower, but keep them with you all the time. There'll be amazing energies and amazing support comes from those little bracelets that are made especially for, and the energy of them especially for, personally for you. So enough said on that. And that's so thank you, Otter Spirit, because for sponsoring today's video. We're very happy.
Hello from us, darlings. Hello. And thank you for sponsoring today's show. Thank you for supporting.
And while I'm on that, thank you. I'd like to thank all those people. Last week, I have been under the weather for about 10 days or so. So those people that sent messages and wished me well and thought about me and put out those energies for me, I'd like to thank you very, very much. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Lots of hugs to you.
Yeah, thank you from me as
Okay,
well.
Wallace.
Okay, so a little bit of housekeeping. If you love the show, if you like what we do, then you can go to buy me a coffee. The links will be up. Clara will make sure that's up, so you can click on that, buy me a coffee, and you can yeah, and Bold Not Old, you can go there and book a reading if you would like a reading with both of us or either of us. Just yell out. We'd love to have you come and do a reading with us if that's what you would like yourself. And we're going to have, in the not too distant future, some giveaways and things. We've talked about those and we haven't quite finalised that idea and what we're going to be, giving away. Pardon me. But Jude's going to give you the title of today and then we're going to get right into it.
Okay, today's title, which I think is, Wallace and I were talking about before we began, we were talking about the story of, when this began and how we got to the story that's going on now in America, because we focus, quite a bit on America. We touch on what's happening in Iran, and the others seem to be, stepping up to the mark around the world and taking care of what they need to take care of. So our specific focus has been on what's come to us, plenty of times, is this area of America, because it's so big and it has so much energy that's going out
everybody because of the allies and everything else.
Yeah. So we've been focusing on that, and we were talking about this story. So and we talked about, so today our title is Powerful Shameful White Women and End Days. And we'll cover off on that and try and give you as much information as we can. And for some of that to be, and I'm sure Wallace, is with me in this, but we want what we tell you to be uplifting as well. We want to uplift you. We want to empower you if we can, with information.
But we also want to tell the truth too. We want to see if we can tell our little bit of truth at our, end of the world as we see it and what we see and what we look at.
Things we see and how we see that, and what comes through for us, and what's told to us, and some things you just go, and we try not to vet things, like say, oh, I'm not going to say that, or I'm not going to tell, I'm not going to put that out there, or whatever.
No, let's be provocative, darling.
We put out and give you as much as we can. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, the Powerful Shameful White Women and End Days. My take on that is, of course, you've got, Mikowski, witch. These are all witches, all these women. We should have put the heading, white witches, but I didn't want any flack back from the real.
That's shameful about white witches, because they're not like that.
The real witch movement, which is, fabulous. So it's got nothing to do with them. It's just a term, darling. But they are witches. Mikowski, Luma, Marge Taylor Greene, the press secretary, what's her name? Levitt, Hubber. Oh, police. And the list is so long, it's bloody shameful.
What's her name? Gnome, or whatever, and the other one, and going after CNN and all the, like, I got to tell you, from my point of view, Wallace, shame on you, ladies. Shame on you. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of you, and I'm ashamed that you belong to the women's human race, the female human race, because
And
You have
especially white women.
discredited
All the
yourself.
black women stood up for,
Oh,
they did amazing things. Love them, love them, love them. But these bloody powerful white women, and they did the
you
same.
women have,
They did the same with
you've
the other
degraded
pedophiles.
yourself.
Well, it was the same thing
You've
that went on
degraded
with
yourself.
Jeffrey Epstein. There was a lot of very powerful white women put him on the map. Shameful, shameful behaviour, shameful women. We're white women, and I'm sorry to say that, they're all white women as well. Terrible, terrible stuff. Anyway, on with the show. Let's get on with it. Let's do a reading first. I noticed the bill has gone back, but we do want to talk a little bit, just briefly. I think we're going to just cover off today on a little bit of Musk. We're going to talk about a little bit about Donny Two Dolls, Dopey Dealer Don, and a little bit about Newsom and Stephen Miller. We're going to touch on a few things, but the first reading that we're going to do, Fed income, sort of reading, is we're going to do a little reading on Elon Musk. And will, at the moment, this is what I'm hearing. What I'm hearing at the moment is they seem to be all doing this personality comparison. Elon and Trumpy, they're the exes, they've fallen out and they're in another brawl with each other. They deserve each other, and so does Elon. He deserves it. Because he didn't mind getting in there with the Doge stuff and pulling everybody's life apart and taking all their personal information. He's as bad as the other bloke, except the other bloke turned on him and he didn't think that would happen to him. He was not going to be one of the people that Donny Two Dolls would turn on. Oh, you think? He's now got the pips because Laura Loomer's sort of, upstaged him, and she's a female, Dale. You don't have the right fittings. But the whole thing has been around, the comparison of, who's more popular. But see, I think they're missing the mark because Muskie's got the money. And at the end of the day, and I'm shuffling my cards as I go, at the end of the day, he's the bloke with the money. And those, we've seen it, darlings, with all the billionaires, those that hold the money hold the power, not Donny Two Dolls. So let's take a look at that, Judy. I'm going to do mine, and then you can head off.
Okay, I'm just going to lift up one card, Wallace.
Huh?
When it turned over, and I was glad we were talking about Musk, because when I turned this over, it was really, really clear. This came out the Chariot. And as soon as I turned it over, I thought, oh, here we are. This to me is Elon Musk to a T, looking for a new vehicle. The one he's had, which Tesla, is we won't be resurrecting that. That's gone. You'd have to do a lot of tap dancing to bring that one back. But he's looking for a new vehicle, and the new vehicle he's looking for, and he's going to push because he hasn't got anything else. Bar this, what I'm going to say, what he's pushing for is he's looking to set up a new government. He didn't do too well in the one that he was with because Donzy Doggy Donzy, or Donny, Doggy Donny, he wasn't going to let him walk in over top him because he loves the limelight. He wasn't going to give it to Elon. Doesn't matter how much money he's got. And I think a bit tongue-in-cheek, he went in there and hoped Elon didn't come out with dig up too much rubbish, so he thought he'd threaten him with deportation. But look, that doesn't, what does that mean to somebody like Elon Musk with all that money? They just go somewhere else and run it from another place, bit like Donny did. When Biden came in, he went down to Mar-a-Lago and he ran a second presidency from there. So that doesn't stop them. So, no use with the threats. But importantly, he's got the money. He's going to set up, if he can, he's waiting for this bill, he's going to use whatever he can in the future to bring himself back into the limelight, save himself, look like an angel. Said to Wallace earlier, we should sometime call this angels and demons, because they are. And here we are, this person here wanting to come up and lily white, look like an angel, and he's looking to set up another party that he can be part of because he hasn't got anything else, and he's got a thing about Trump, and he's not going to, I tell you, the two of them, dog with a bone, they're not going to they're determined not to let each other win. Well, good on you, fellas, go for it. Go there, go for the jugular, because we're all sitting on the sidelines watching, but don't be passive about it, sweethearts. Don't be passive. Okay, Wallace?
Party. Don't think that he's turned against Trump and, he's a good boy. Don't join his party, whatever.
He's not good.
Okay, first card out for me.
I
agree with what you said about the new political party. He's definitely wanting to do that. And don't kid yourself for 1 minute that he won't round up all his mates, the other billionaires, and make them promises and tell them what he's going to do. And because the other, who you never hear about, but he's a skunk, is that, Peter Thiel. And he's a criminal too. He's a skunk, that fellow. He's behind Vance. I think he's Vance's mate. He's behind him, and him and Musk got Vance in the first place. That was all planned. There was a deal done there, and so yeah, big. But here's the thing that's going on, and the reason I believe for the threat of deportation is that Trump thinks that if he deports him and gets him out of the way, he can't shop Trump over the election fraud. Really? Okay, my card out was the Emperor. Of course, straight away it was Trump. So you pulled out the Musk one, and I pulled out Trump, and that's absolutely correct. Trump's there. He's seemingly going to fight, but he's running into the brick wall. Poor old Trumpy. He's feeling the pinch in so many ways. Knight of Cups came out with it. This is Elon Musk. Troubles in the camp, and the blank card. I love the blank card. Fill in the blank. So for me, it certainly hasn't ended, and I believe I'm seeing. And in fact, let me just grab one more card. Yep, Justice card. I'm seeing a lot. In fact, it's escalating. I can feel the energies. This escalation of the energies around all of the skullduggery that's gone on and the things that are going to, come to light. Okay, we done with the whole Musk thing. Anything else, Judy, you want to say? Hey, anything else?
Nothing. No.
Okay, all right. Pardon me. Like to just touch on very quickly. I'd like to touch on, because I've been getting a lot lately around it. Will Newsom be, I mean, it's a little bit early, but I'd like to at least look at it. I know we said about Tim Walz a while ago, but I think as we get closer, there's going to be a lot around Newsom. And I think, do you see him maybe pull out just one card, Jude? Do you see Newsom being the leader in the race for the next, running for president?
Well, I don't know that he'll be the leader. He'll certainly be in the race, and I do know that there's going to be, a couple of women in there. Let's go back, Wallace, to when we talked about a long time ago. We talked about prophecies, the prophecy, and the prophecy was and the
yeah.
And think about the prophecy. Prophecies that came in those days, and that was a lot of years ago, and things can be changed by people's energies, by the universe in itself, and so on and so forth. So it's sort of not in concrete. You know, it's the shifting sand. Sounds like the desert, doesn't
Moving
it?
feast. Yeah.
And so what we sorry, what'd you say?
Moving
What'd
feast.
you say?
Moving.
Yeah. And so the prophecy was that there would be a president, then there would be an antichrist, then there would be no, there'd be a president, then there'd be a woman president, then there'd be an antichrist, and then there'd be what we call a walk-in. And we won't go into a lot of information about walk-ins at the moment. We will maybe in another time to come. We'll talk about walk-ins and what that actually means. And what we've had, and I said last time Trump was in, I said, well, there's the Antichrist, and the Antichrist is still there. And we do know that in the universe, that's what's happening is that with all the changes, all of this 6 or 12,000 years or whatever, which is ending and will end, they are saying by 2032, but between now and then. But this year's the big one. This year's the show. We're always going to stay. If you're still here and you're still standing, you're here for the big show. And if it's the big show, then join in and be a little bit more uplifting about it. And I know if you're in it and you're seeing all this rubbish every day, but join the groups. Listen, join the groups that are positive, that are making changes, not out there, stomping on people, and it's all not negative. But if you can join small groups, because over the years, and Wallace and I have talked about this so many times, Wallace used to come visit me, and we'd stay up till midnight or more talking about, how would you re-engineer? If you're going to re-engineer your life, how would that be? And so on and so forth. And so we used to sit and talk about what that meant and how that would impact your life. And in those days, we talked about energies. And I know I've, got on that a bit today, but it's so important. Over the years, when we looked at people who were mediums, top mediums in the UK, Wallace will attest to this, top mediums in the UK, all sorts of people around us, workshops that we used to go to, things over the years. My goodness me, I think we've forgotten more than we could ever learn now, or what we could tell you, because it's been so much. So we knew that people got together, and when people got together positively in large groups, like in workshops like Money and You, when people got together in large groups, they got to a stage. There was a game called the Blocks game. Remember that, Wallace?
Yeah.
And it was the energy that people picked up on, that they were able to pick what that was about. So I'm encouraging people to get out there and join small groups, get into things, stay positive, do things that you can do to keep yourself really positive as well, because we don't want you going down the rabbit hole with this. It's easy to go down the rabbit hole and get yourself all worked up about all the negativity and that. But listen, how do you think people have changed saving animals? Things like the dolphins, things like the whales here in our waters, down the Antarctic. How do you think it's one person? How do you think people who change things like animal shelters, that drive down the road and see a horse that's not well, and they ring and find out who owns it? How do you think things change if you don't do it yourself? That's how it is. That's how it changes. So the card that came out was the Star card, and it's quite a spiritual card. It is to do with energies, and it's very appropriate that I want you to stay. The prophecies from the Pleiades and the prophecies is a universal. It's something that is going on in our system.
So tell me tell me about Newsom.
I'm not getting at the moment. Might be a bit early, I'm not getting that energy. I think he'll be out there and have lots and lots of things to say. And I think he'll be really out there saying things because, Trumpy has got under his skin and tried to take away his power and make him look like a lunatic, which he's far from, of course. And I think, as far as sticking up for California, which is their biggest economy, that's going to be all very positive. I don't feel that he's close at the moment. I don't feel that close of that he's certainly going to be a contender. But then there's about 6 or 7 people there that could change things drastically. And when we've got all these primaries coming up and all that stuff, and that's one of the things why these other so and so's, this MAGA mob, get in the White House, they're all now getting jittery because the Democrats and those that are running, like the guy in New York, Mamdani, like they're running scared. It doesn't matter. Those so-and-sos think they've got money and think they're going to. The only time they're going to get their money is if they retire, because they mightn't even make it to the end line. So, end game, they're all running a bit scared. And so they should be. Along with your other, the horrible women that have backed you up and are backing them up. Well, they're not going to get any thanks. They'll be dumped in the dirt, you stupid women.
Okay.
History is showing you. What are you? Nuts. Go, Wallace.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Judy's on a rant today. I pulled out.
I'm back because I haven't been well.
I pulled out the Ace of Wands. To me, it means that he's still got quite a deal of growing to do, but he is growing. He's growing into his own skin bag, and he's growing into his own space. And I think he's going to be a real contender. Absolutely, he'll be a contender. Hierophant, love the Hierophant, because for me, that's just totally, again, backs up all the information. He's had some really interesting conversations with old Donny Two Dolls, who's maintained the conversations were about certain things that they weren't. I think that, and he's had to report that to Congress. And I think what's going to happen is we're going to be hearing, and that's all in relation to what's been going on in California, we're going to be hearing more of actually what was said. Not what Donny Two Dolls said was said, but what was actually said. Now, there's also been a development around this Stephen Miller character. His family have now come out against him, and they've called him openly in public a hypocrite. And yes, definitely he is a hypocrite. He comes from a migrant family, immigrants, refugees, they were his family, and yet he's leading the way on deportation of, immigrants and refugees. His family are standing up and saying he's an absolute hypocrite, and it mocks what the family stands for. Most of them, they're a fairly big family, but most of them got together and decided to elect one of them as the spokesperson. A very, very clever man that man is. That's the spokesperson for them, one of the family. And they're coming out and they're standing up and saying, don't believe a word he said. He's a hypocrite and a liar and another one. But, look, they put out, didn't they? I said this, I think, last week on the show. I said that I think they run an ad for all the lunatics, and people said, well, let's go for that job. We could earn a whole bunch of money. We could rip some people off, might even get ourselves a new home and a yacht. And, that's probably the least we'll do out of it. We've got the Supreme Court now. We've got a lower court. He's trying to do away with all those because they're the safe safety net and the safeguard for democracy. He's trying to do away with them, but I noticed there's a new development on the whole thing around him. They've now declared that presidential immunity, he didn't have that for the whole thing with the insurrection. So one wonders now whether Jack Smith will come back and have another go at all that, now that they've determined that he didn't have immunity around that. I said a while ago there'd be a whole lot more things coming out. There will be, and there is going to be something. I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's going to be something, and there is something in the pipeline that's going to push along that impeachment. Now, Judy, before we go, did we say this time, or do we have a bit more time? You're the timekeeper.
No, we've got a little bit more time. We've got about another, I don't know, 5 or 7 minutes or something.
Okay, so I also
We've got a little bit longer.
I just want to say that, dopey dealer Trump, that's what I'm calling him. All these deals that he says he's doing with Japan, with with this one and that one, and of course, is a crock of shit. He's not doing any deals. And anyway, the only deals and the only gambling he's doing is with Americans' lives. And he can't gamble. I mean, he sent 3 casinos broke. How do you send a casino broke? I mean, it's a bloody, it's a license to print money. So dopey dealer Trump, he doesn't have a clue. Interesting, Iran have put out a fatwa against Donny $2. That's not a good look. I don't agree with those things. They did that with Salman Rushdie, and there were a few attempts on his life, and there was some pretty horrible stuff went on. Well, they've issued one of those against Trump. Nobody's covering on it. Nobody's saying too much, but all of that stuff is very important, and they have far reach, and they're everywhere. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of that. Stephen Miller, I've covered off on. And Elon Musk.
Well, I just want to cover off on the Stephen Miller Wally going was. On the Stephen Miller, I got a really strong, and I don't know what's going on there, but somewhere he's either gonna, I got this card, and this one's the Knight of Pentacles. So it's about Stephen, it's about his age. Okay, this person here is about his age. And I feel him being put on an aeroplane somewhere. Now, whether that's to get rid of him out of the hot seat for something that's coming that's going to be said. I got a big 2. I'll go with the 2 days and the 2 weeks. Could be 2 months, but it feels a little bit. Somewhere here, he's getting on an aeroplane. Now, whether that's to the area where they sent all those people or whatever it is, somewhere there's something coming up, the hot seat, and he's going to have to go and do a deal. And I can tell you now, he's the scapegoat, and he's going to go back on stuff. There's going to be some stuff come out there, some more truth, if you like, but there's something going on there. That's that one.
Right. Yeah.
And I got this one too, and I'll cover off on this one.
Okay.
The Hermit.
Yeah.
The Hermit card came, and I'll just lift those 2. The Hermit card came, and this to me was, if we could say, if the shit hit the fan, the shit's going to hit the fan here, because this is all the secrets, all the stuff. It's almost like they've just emptied the toilet on themselves.
Yeah, definitely going to, the GOP and MAGA are ready to implode. That's a definite. And I just love, before we go, when we talked about, doing things, staying positive, and what contribution can you make, I think the young man who developed the app for that, detecting the ice agents and all that, good for him. Kudos from us, young man. Good for you for being so clever and smart and giving people a heads up on that, because better to stay out of the way of all that than, marching to it. So I think it's very, very important. I mean, if somebody can say, don't go over there, there's a pack of lions and you're going to, get mauled and,
They're going to eat you.
well, then, you don't. If somebody says to you, don't do it, and well, then you're not going to go and do it. You're going to, turn the other corner. So those things are really, really important. I'm closing my book on it all, the notes that I took for today. But before we go, I do want to go back to and just promote our sponsors one last time that are sponsoring today's show, and that's Otter Spirit, this here, Otter Spirit, and their wonderful, wonderful contribution. Their beautiful bracelets that I'm wearing. Can you see them, darlings? Beautiful bracelets and well packaged, beautiful. To put away for Chrissy for presents. Lovely, and they do them in your birth sign, your zodiac, sign, and I just love it. I think it's. I think that they're gorgeous, and they also.
So the link will be up for those, and I'm just waiting to get mine because I'm going to wear them all the time as well.
Absolutely, they have what the intention is. They have the signs that are covered by it, and they have the chakras, and this is that sacral root chakra. So very, very interesting, and you can do a bit. Otter Spirit, thank you for sponsoring today's show of Wallace and Judith Psychic Twins.
Thank you for helping us get to 100,000 subscribers.
Yes, please hit the subscribe button so we can get to 100,000 subscribers. And next week on Judith Wallace
show,
Psychic Twins, we're going to have our first guest, which is Dr. Lena Rodriguez from Tarot Down Under. That'll be a hoot. That'll be a whole bunch of fun, and you'll see her next week on Judith and Wallace Psychic Twins. Okay, Jude, do you want to do the wind up, and then I'll say goodbye to my gorgeous people.
All right. What I want to say to everybody is, again, thank you for your thoughts when I wasn't well. Back on track now, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. We love bringing it to you. We talk a little bit before we bring the show, and we don't always agree on everything, and that's fine. We don't have to. But I really, really, really want to just say before I go, lots of hugs from me, lots and lots of hugs. I want you to stay really positive, and I want you to join in with others. This is a community, and as a community, it's a bit like me saying to you, look, this looks like the Mission Impossible, and my task for you today is to get out there, be really positive, get as much around you as you can to help you stay positive, because you can, because everything out there, the way that everything is moving in astrology and what's happening with the planets and what's happening with everything is very, very encouraging. So I want, and you might as well be in it. It's a bit like taking a Tats Lotto ticket. You've got to be in it to win it. Be in it, and be in it positively. Get up every day and lift those vibrations. We read a little book recently, Wallace and I talked about, and it was by a woman called, whatever, I forget. And she's written a couple of things, and one of the books was the 5-second rule. And if you get out of bed, or you're finding it hard to get out of bed, or you're finding it hard to be positive.
Mel Robbins.
Sorry, love.
Mel.
Yeah, Mel Robbins. So if you're finding it hard to get out of bed, go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. and take action. So I just want to say to you, keep taking the action, because it's those things. And when a whole lot of people get together and do that, magic happens.
Magic happens.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you, darlings, for being here. You know, when you go, I go with you. And when I go, you go with me. And just in a parting comment, if you don't know about Tim and Alfie over at Telltale Tarot, or you do know about them, pop across there for us, will you? And just give Tim a hug. He hasn't been too well. He had a visit to the hospital the other night, and tell him we send him love, and go across, make another comment, even if you have been on there, and send him all our love, all our hugs, and all our blessings, and all our well wishes for his well-being. And we'll see you next week on
See you next week.
Wallace and Judith Twins. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.